Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Hedera and HBAR. So with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with this tweet here. So 10 days ago, we seen Hedera post this over on Twitter, 14 billion. So this was celebrating that they hit 14 billion transactions on the mainnet. And then of course, 10 days later, boom, whoops. That was quick, 15 billion. So about roughly 1 billion transactions per week. This is 4 billion transactions per month. If this rate does continue, that is 48 billion transactions per year. Now, of course, is this going to continue and be, stable? No. In fact, it's going to increase. We're going to be doing a lot more transactions. And the reason why is because there's going to be a lot more adoption for Hedera. See, this is an uphill battle where we will most likely be doing a billion transactions in 6 days, a billion transactions in 5 days, and eventually we will be doing a billion transactions every single day. This is something to really kind of look forward to. And it's funny? 1 day later, we're already at almost 15.2 billion transactions, sitting at a stable almost 1,300 TPS. Absolutely incredible to see. Now, let's look into a few things. So recently we talked a little bit about Shinhan Bank. So what do you see from Hedera? In a continuation of their work on DLT-enabled cross-border remittances, Shinhan Bank ENG, in collaboration with SCB Tech X and other financial institutions, has today announced the successful completion of a stablecoin remittance POC pilot on Hedera. Now, why is this significant? Why am I bringing this back up? Well, because of the recent announcement from Hedera, but let's first step back all the way to 2022. In fact, this was September 19th, 2022. I said this is the most bullish Hedera blog post highlighting the potential of the MTech Inc. partnership. After watching MTech expand rapidly within the digital cash and CBDC space proves HBAR's critical role in being the tech stack choice for MTech's ventures. If you guys if you guys forgot about this, this is from 2021, October 8th, 2021. Where MTech was exploring a lot of things around Hedera with CBDCs, tokenization, things like that. MTech, an award-winning software company modernizing central banking infrastructure for financial inclusion and resilience with blockchain-based platforms, and Hedera Hashgraph, provider of the most used sustainable enterprise-grade public network for the decentralized economy, announced today a partnership to develop an enterprise-grade, highly performant, highly secure, and energy-efficient CBDC infrastructure product. Now, fast forward. Roughly 2 years later now, almost 2 years later, we do see this. Nextgen Finance, you all already know it's built on Hedera. Check this out. So this is from MTech. Today, we are thrilled to launch our latest offering, the CBDC Innovation Kit. The MTech CBDC Innovation Kit empowers fintechs and FSPs to explore the new possibilities of digital cash. Now, as we look at this announcement here, you guys have it. Roughly viewed by 83,000 individuals. This was from July 19th. So roughly about 5 days ago. Within this, I do want to talk about a few things. So first off, let's play the two videos from Carmel Cadet herself. This is very interesting as she does really kind of walk us through that she, tested Ethereum and even XLM, and they settled on Hedera for being the core technology provider around this. And we even do see that a core reason was the trust that the Hedera Governing Council ensures financial institutions. Check this out.
Our selection of Hedera as a protocol came in a very thoughtful way. The conversations were really digging into how the governing council was able to provide that trusted mechanism for a client segment like ours. So me walking into a central bank, I wanted to feel comfortable explaining what protocol we would be selling them and what protocol we would be advocating for. We tested, like I said, we tested Hyperledger when I was at IBM. For a period of time, we tested Stellar as well. And then we went to Ethereum. And the conversations continued with the Hedera team. And we started with just a consensus service and see how that worked. But went full-blown Hedera with also using Hedera token service when we saw the beauty of abstracting the difficulty of onboarding different node managers. If you've ever built a blockchain ecosystem on your own, you know how difficult that can be. being able to convince enterprises, let alone in the financial services space. And I think we can look at examples in the market right now on how that did not work well, convincing different financial institutions of using some protocol's token or some other entity's token to facilitate payment was not something that was going to hold. So the abstraction of the node management and then having a clear strategy of having large enterprises that our client segment use for either their cloud deployment today, their security technology, their API technology, and that they trusted really made it easier for us to walk into the room and say, if you trust IBM to do your cloud, you can trust IBM to run a node for you. In the US government, if you trust Boeing to fly and to build planes, you can trust Boeing to actually manage a node and provide a public ledger mechanism.
And that's also something else, right? Like as we look at the GC, I remember initially, and I know that many out there, maybe you're new or so, going back all the way to 2021, everyone was fudding on Hedera because of the GC. They were saying that it's all centralized. Nobody's going to utilize Hedera because of the GC, blah, blah, blah. And fast forward to now, the GC is what's helping this technology be pioneered to the central bankers and the financial institutions out there. Also, down here, Nextgen Finance requires next-gen infrastructure. There's a lot of talk of how this infrastructure needs to be ISO 20022 compliant. And check this out. So she breaks down Hedera facilitates this financial messaging standard as well. And this is very interesting.
We spent a lot of time looking at ISO 20022. And the way to think about it is HCS is really a message bus. And ISO 20022 really establishes some standard of messaging types or messages that you really need to capture in a payment transaction to make it understandable from one system to another. And this is a standard that not every bank and not every financial institution has adopted yet. Many are still going through the process of adopting. And what we see in HCS is ability to actually comply to that. You can configure your messages and the message types that you capture via HCS to be compliant to ISO 20022. So I know this is a question that comes up a lot. And the reason I don't think that Hedera particularly needs to think through making HCS ISO 20022 compliant is because it is at the application layer that you really need to make sure what the message types that you're gathering are compliant to that standard. And that's our approach to it. I'll give you an example. When you think about payments, especially cross-border payments, something that's always been embedded in that process is the concept of clearing and settlement. What we've seen over the past 10, 20 years when it comes to token transfers and tokenization is really the settlement part. No clearing per se. The clearing happens off-chain, and the clearing sometimes happens in a very embedded way at the wallet level where, someone gives you their wallet number. You trust that it's their wallet, and you go in or either Coinbase or any other platform, you enter the wallet number and you send the money. That's pure settlement. There's no clearing component. What we're looking at actually now, if we want to comply and capture the clearing component of a payment, which we believe will continue to be needed, is embedding that HCS component to the HTS transfer, the token transfer itself, and having that message bus capture the right data and the right messages for it to be compliant from one financial institution to the other, or from the sender to the receiver. And depending on what you have on the other side, if it is a HTS to HTS transfer, it's a very seamless kind of messaging system, depending on what you put on your message bus and you attach to that settlement layer.
So yeah, this is huge, right? And it really does go back to the idea that this is next generation technology. This is the third generation, if you will, around blockchain and DLT. And it's very, very exciting. I know that a lot of people won't like this because it is CBDCs and things like that. And I even mentioned over on Twitter, going back to June 21st, I said most people really think that they can stop CBDCs at this point. It's kind of comical. Most people can't fathom the idea that they are already controlled by money. Central banks will always win. It's inevitable. We now have 90% of these central banks moving towards the CBDC. It's game over, right? So as we really kind of look at this, CBDCs are most likely going to happen. We're going to have a variety of tokenized assets out there, from stocks to real estate. Anything of value will be tokenized. So think about the vast majority of things out there that will be on chain in the coming 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, right? As we do look at this, It's definitely interesting, right? And I think everyone should be focused heavily on the underlying technology, the infrastructure
Our
that all of
selection
this,
of Hedera.
the infrastructure that all of this will be built upon. And it looks like Hedera is becoming a leader around this space, especially with MTech. Personally speaking, I've looked at MTech for so long, since May of 2021, I want to say. And from everything that we found, this is such a massive company that everyone should be looking at and watching. If we actually look at their website, you can look at their by industry. They're for the central bankers and financial service providers. They do have a list of products on here as well. You can look through this innovation kit. So here's the innovation kit. CBDC is coming. Over 93% now are currently in research development or even testing worldwide. This is all API led. It's an infrastructure first sort of model with APIs and stuff like that. We are definitely focused on even like Q&T for an example. Then also over here, CBDC value proposition for FSPs, cost to serve, resilient payment rail, client acquisition, participation of non-bank FSP, product innovation as well. And then here's the introduction of the actual kit. And this is CBDC Simulator Beyond Cash, BYDC. And then also over here, you have built for the Web3 era with Hedera's logo at the center point. By leveraging tokenization, cryptography, and public distributed ledger, our simulated CBDC provides transaction transparency without exposing users' data, faster settlement, energy efficiency, and is ready for Web3 related use cases. BYDC is deployed using Hedera Hashgraph protocol for ledger and tokenization services. What an absolute major statement there. Huge. Leverage pre-built BYDC APIs to innovate faster as well. Unlock your imagination and build with a digital version of cash. And also over here, monitor your activities with our dashboard. And last but not least, get your journey started. So yeah, I mean, listen, MTech has been a leader around this space for a little bit of time. They've been making a lot of noise around CBDCs and things like that. I think everyone should be very, very focused on MTech. And remember, my original viewpoint on MTech was the partnerships that they already have in place. Like, for an example, they're already working with the Digital Dollar Project. They're also working with, outside of Hedera, Microsoft, which is also why we originally thought, like, when is Hedera going to add Microsoft to the GC list? Most likely still probably something to look into, but some great partnerships already in place. And again, MTech, like I said, is becoming a major leader. Hedera, I mean, as we look at Hedera, we know this thing is built for scalability. I mean, I think everyone is now on par with that idea that, listen, you can scale your use cases on Hedera. It's built for scalability. We're doing 1 billion transactions in less than 10 days. This thing has become a monster around the financial world in the last 2 years. And, again, ever since we started talking about Hedera, it's been nothing but nonstop building, updates, growth. And that's something that you really want from any of these projects. And as we do look at Hedera, this is a force to be reckoned with within the financial and tokenization world. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys have more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. So that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.